Hello and welcome back. It's Andrew Mead from Mead.io, and this is part 2 on ESLint. If you haven't watched part 1, do go ahead and watch that first. Otherwise, this video will make no sense at all. So the goal for this one is to set up ESLint to actually work with our editor. Here I'm using Visual Studio Code, although the process is very similar for other editors like Atom, Brackets, or more IDE environments like WebStorm. Essentially what you have to do is just install a plugin. So what we're going to do right now is first up install ESLint locally in our project using npm or yarn. Now why do that? Because we might be using different ESLint versions for various projects. By having a global installation, we're forcing all of our projects to use that same version. By installing things locally, we can create a more sustainable real-world setup. So as we collaborate with others, we can make sure everyone is working off of the same base version. All we have to do that is run. I'm going to use npm install. I'll use save dev to save it as a dev dependency ESLint at 4.9.0. If you're using yarn, that would be yarn add with the dev flag followed by ESLint at 4.9.0. I am going to go ahead and run this installation. That's going to get that dependency installed locally on my machine. And once that's actually done, all we need to do is install a plugin. Now the plugin name or author is going to be different depending on the editor you're using. For Visual Studio Code, I'm going to go over here into the plugins area, search ESLint. And this first one is the one we're looking for. If we click it, this is the one with 2 million downloads. Make sure to grab this one. This is the one that comes with all of the features that we actually want to use. Now, all we have to do is install it, and it is going to work off of our existing ESLint RC configuration file, and it is going to use our local version of ESLint. It'll fall back to the global if no local one is available. And you're going to do the same thing for your other editors. Just go to your plugins area and look for the most popular ESLint package out there. Now to actually enable it, I do have to reload for Visual Studio Code. And once we do come back, we should see absolutely nothing in app.js since we fixed all of those issues. But as we start to introduce issues into the code, let's go ahead and say we no longer define bar, we should see the exact same issues show up that we had in the terminal. This time around though, they're showing up in the editor. So right here, we have the exact same output. Bar is not defined, followed by the actual rule that's causing that error to occur. So by setting things up like this, we're going to be able to catch those errors as we type them, as opposed to needing to remember to run ESLint from the terminal and then hope that we still remember what we were trying to accomplish with that buggy code. By configuring it right into the editor, we're actually going to be able to use it, and it is going to help us catch those issues before we spend more than just a couple of seconds figuring out what's going wrong. That's actually going to be it for this one. This was a quick one. Do make sure that your editor is set up to work with ESLint. You should see those errors in the file in line as you create them. In the next video, we're going to talk about the Airbnb set of rules that we can extend. This is going to give us a lot more functionality. It's also going to create a more strict environment. And we'll also talk about how we can customize those rules to fit our personal style and preferences. I'm excited to get to that. So let's go ahead and jump over into part 3.